This one has been a real challenge for everyone at Druid, I think, to work on the sort of production team because of its sort of physical demands and just trying to kind of deliver Casey's vision along with Gary and our sort of interpretation of it they've sort of pushed the boat out a bit with it, and I think that's going to be very exciting to see when you see it.
The job of this music is to accompany the drama at that point in the piece, so it's got to be appropriate to World War I, it's got to be appropriate to the character, and it's also got to be appropriate to Gary's style and vision. The whole of Act 2, most of Act 2 has music running through it. There's about 8 or 9 songs in Act 2, and there's only a 20-minute act. Most of Act 4 has music going throughout it as well, and that's a half-an-hour act. Act 1, there's one song at the end. And Act 3, there's one song in it as well, so there's quite a lot of music.
There are actor musicians in this play, which gives me, as a sound designer, a certain number of problems. But we're solving them with traditional means, i.e. we're telling them to play louder or sing quieter or the reverse, rather than reverting to using a lot of microphones all over the place, which would just make the whole thing slightly distanced from the audience, whereas the immediacy of the live music on stage played by the actors helps a great deal with bringing the audience into the play.
The actor musicians, no, they're great. I mean, and when you say actor musicians, I mean, one of them has just come out of playing, being in Les Mis and Phantom in the West End, so they're actual actors. They just happen to be actors who are incredibly talented, who can also professionally play the instruments they've been given. So we've got a cello and ukulele from one person, we have a guitar from another person, we have an accordion from another person, who also happens to play the violin brilliantly, but that got cut in the process, and we have a fantastic whistle and flute player. So it's an amalgam of all those instruments.
Another challenge of doing this play is that it's gone on quite a big tour, and it's gone to various venues, some pretty huge and some not so huge, and we have in Act 2 quite a sort of quite an epic piece of scenery makes an appearance, which to shoehorn in some of the venues backstage has been a bit of a challenge, and I think in Portlaoise it's probably going to be living under a tarpaulin in the yard somewhere. So, but we're not going to leave anything out. Everyone will see everything pretty much in all of the different venues. So, but that's been, that's another thing that people perhaps don't think about, that, the design doesn't just have to work in Galway and Dublin, it has to work in Ennis and Oxford and all of the other venues it's going to go to, all of which have different demands.
Act 2 of the play is set in the Somme during the First World War. Normally that would give me a great deal of scope for doing loud explosions and mud flying everywhere and debris and all the rest of it. But the particular area that we're dealing with is not right at the front. So what I do get to do is something I enjoy doing, which is using a lot of low frequency sounds to signify the battle still going on, but some way off. And the great thing about low frequency sounds is that you can actually play them quite loudly, but not disguise the sound of the actors' voices.
Gary says that you have to, she's equivalent of having to sell the family china to pull this off. Is it truly epic in size and scale?
It's got huge sort of size and scope, and I don't want to give too much away to you because you've got to come and see the show.
Jazzing back to his hotel, he now goes gaily, sheltered and safe, where the clock ticks tamely. His backside warm in a cushion downfield. Green clad, well splashed with gold birds, red beaks is lost in view of the front line sinking into the white flesh breast of a Judy.